Hello everyone, John Ensz from the Inman Museum here. Wanted to share with you another tour today, this time at the farmstead at the museum, which includes the house, and we can kind of see the summer kitchen to the back of the house there, as well as the barn. Today we're mostly just going to talk about the house. The house that you see here was actually built in 1875 in McPherson by the Newland family, but it was later on purchased by a family by the name of Wilke, who obtained 160 acres of land north of Inman in 1881 and had this house moved out to their land. The family was Fritz Wilke, Fritz and his wife. Her name was Marie Antoinette and Caroline Frederica Bossi. They had 5 children, 3 of whom had been born in Germany before they immigrated to America, and then 2 that were born here in America. So the children that lived with him in this house ranged from the age of about 15 to 1 year old when they moved in. Let's go ahead and walk up to the house and go inside. This house was actually moved here when the highway was built a number of years ago. It sat at the intersection of Cimarron Road and K61, and the new highway was going to go right through where this house sat. Through the foresight of museum board and curator at the time, this house was saved. Was moved here to the museum site and restored. Most of the artifacts that we look at and can see here inside the house are not original to this house, but are artifacts that were donated by people in the Inman community from their family's history, different antiques, which incidentally, including the table and the kitchen Hoosier cabinet over there, were actually donated by my parents, Norman and Pearl Ensz. And so the house was put together with a variety of things from the Inman community. It also is not just representative of one time period, but of a variety of time periods, as you can see by a more modern stove as opposed to the hand pump sink over here in the kitchen. It was beautifully done. This main room that we're in is the kitchen, and it is the room that the front door comes into. Over here on the wall there is a picture of when this house was moved from McPherson to north of Inman using a bunch of mules, and it was hauled out there. Through this doorway we come into the parlor. Now, as was custom in that time, it is possible that this parlor was hardly used by the family. The main floor essentially has 2 rooms, one of them only being used when company came. Just recently, descendants of the Wilke family donated these portraits of the people who actually lived in this house before they died. They are both buried. I believe he died in 1901 and she in 1902, and they're buried in the North Inman Cemetery. The parlor is complete with an organ, overstuffed furniture, but they're, again, not necessarily things that were from this house or from the Wilke family. For instance, over here on the wall is a beautiful clock and shelf from the Gerhard and Helena Hebert Taves family, and just various antiques that were donated over the years from people in this community to make this parlor. Obviously, this room here, the kitchen, would have been the warmest, the most used, and the heart of the home. Interestingly enough, as we look through to what would today be known as the pantry room through this door, when the Wilke family lived here, this door went outside. To get to the 2 bedrooms that are on the 2nd floor, you actually had to go through this door outside, no matter what the weather was. And then you would access another door in the side of the house and some steps that took you upstairs. In the 1920s, this room was added on to make kind of a washroom, extra room for the house, for the people who lived here. And it was built on when the museum rebuilt this house as well. Again, a collection of antiques, old artifacts from different families in the Inman area. Let's go ahead and go upstairs. Rather narrow, steep stairs, which end up in the 1st bedroom. Most people who come up here are always kind of surprised at the actual size of this bedroom, which is pretty large. However, it did house 5 children. Again, from the ages of 15 to 1. This particular bed against the wall here is one of the Ashman beds. Ashman was an early wheelwright in Inman, Kansas, who also made furniture. Any pieces of furniture that the museum can get its hands on is considered a treasure. So this was the largest of the bedrooms in the house. Through this door is the second bedroom, maybe the master bedroom. Nobody really knows. There is something from the Wilke family here. The old German family Bible from 1874. The rest of the furniture is just furniture that, again, was donated by different people in the community, including a wedding dress in the corner that was worn in 1943 by Esther Ensz Neufeld. By today's standards, this seems like a pretty small house, but if you consider that it's likely this family or families that would have moved into a house like this moved out of a sod dugout, this becomes almost a mansion. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the Wilke house, and I invite you, once the quarantine is over, to come see it in person. Thanks. Have a great day.